Hi, Gaio. Well, today we're going to talk through a comic that gives us a good look into what mental health or lack thereof looks like. Hmm, let's see if I can even get through this one. So, this is from the world of Black Hammer. This is a story, I guess the first number one in a series about Colonel Weird, which is one of the characters in there. Now, I'm not a big Black Hammer guy. I've seen some of it, but I was digging through the quarter bins and I found this. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure looking at it, it's watercolor, which anytime somebody does really good watercolor, I'm a fan of. But if you want to know, want a good visual representation of what it's like to struggle with mental health and when you don't know up from down, this is it. And it hit me at a time where I was going to counseling and I was working through some stuff. And the thing that I was working through is I was a pastor at a small town church for about 4 years. And oh, at the last run of it, there was a kid who was in a really bad situation, and I think pretty much the whole town had a hand in raising him because his family situation was terrible. And looking back on the whole thing now, um, it the things that happened weren't my fault, but and he had plenty of chances to get out of the life that he was in. But what happened was is this kid. Um, He was going through a really tough time, snuck into the gym one morning and hung himself. And people found him that morning at school. And yeah, the part that I had to play in this was I never met the kid, but there was a lot of talk in the church where I think people knew who he was. And there was a lot of talk of, oh man, I wish Pastor wasn't so busy. The implication that if I wasn't so busy with what I was doing, that I could have helped this kid, and that also this was somehow my fault for being too busy. And so that's a really difficult thing to work through. And it wasn't too much later after that that I ended up leaving. And again, there's so many things wound up in that where yeah, it's I think at the time I the last 2 years that I was there, I was working in the church full time, and I had full time jobs. I think there was one year besides the church where I worked like six or five or six part time jobs just to keep everything going, and it was exhausting. I think I had, there might have been, I probably got one day off every 6 months maybe, and so you add up sleep deprivation, being overworked, lots of responsibility, lots of expectation, and you're carrying the rock by yourself, and then this thing hits, and then somehow it's your fault even more. It was too much. And so navigating my way back out of that, really, this comic really captures that. And I guess I'm not saying this just as almost like a form of therapy, just to barf all over this video to get sympathy or anything like that. It's This comic is such a good representation of trying to navigate when you don't know where you're at. And yeah, so we start here, the top panel, a road of barren landscape, crack, he's here. This face for a long time, for a long that face there, that's that's how your guts are. It is 100% capture, like all the feels, bro. And so here he is. We start our story. He's in the middle of nowhere, walking, and he comes upon a gas station, and he's looking around trying to get his bearings, and then all of a sudden there's a flash of the present. He's back in this this world, and he's like, man, I'm thirsty. And so he goes through the door, and then he's a young man and he's a kid going to get a soda, and the clerk's like, I know you don't got any money, but you can have a soda, just don't tell nobody. And so he goes in here, he opens the door to get a soda, and it's his current situation. And somebody over here is like, what did you just say, weirdo? He's like, say, I don't remember. And somebody's like, you want a soda? What the hell's wrong with you? And he's like, I don't know. And these facial expressions, I cannot express to you how much that man, when you're going through it, whether you know, and really, if you haven't gone through it, you're gonna. I mean, it's just part of life to experience these difficult things. And so, just as frazzled, again, these eyes, man. Whoever this artist is, I'll flip back to the front and find his name. I'm just kind of doing some of these videos on the fly. That face is, man, I know exactly how that feels. And so you're navigating between what you have in front of you and spending all this time trying to navigate your own thoughts and feelings, and trying to calm the world down so that you can understand it. And so he's having this conversation with everybody. He's like, we're gonna make it. And he's like, how do you even know that? And then as he replies, he's back in the gas station again. You know, it's the only soda left in this barren landscape. He puts a dime down, or a nickel. Oh, did they? Oh, as a side note, that is the outline of a buffalo nickel. Oh, so if I could aim up the thing right, that's the outline of a buffalo nickel. Which, yeah, there's the old coins old nickels used to have buffaloes on them. But anyway, so it's him here, and he looks at this, and I don't know a lot of background of the story. I'm guessing that this may have been his home gas station, and it was the rocket that maybe he went to space in, because that's what you'll find out in the story, is that he was a famous astronaut, for somebody that went into space for the first time or something like that, and then that's his rocket ship. And so again, you see him as a very young man going into space, and full of confidence and strength and power, and again, a really good face there. That's the confidence and fearlessness of youth. If you'll forgive me, there's one of my stories that starts off something like, in my youth, my crew, we were invincibly untouchable. Nobody could touch us, and everybody that tried was flicked off with a laugh of our will. Nobody could touch us. And that, as a kid, you feel that way, and then, you know, life chews on you a little bit, and you don't know which way is up. And so again, what a great flashback, what good storytelling here between front and backwards. And also, if you look in here, the reflections on his helmet, a little bit of flashback to Space Odyssey 2001, the Kubrick film. So he gets out of the spaceship, and whoa, what things are not how I expect them to be. And also, of course, there's the touch, that's his girl on ground control. And so again, we flash forward in time. He's still the old man, but he turns around, and they're all hippies. And apparently he's running some sort of commune or something. Who knows? But he's not a youth anymore, but he's not an old man. He's the wizened guy that's, you know, 10 minutes older than all the 20-year-olds. And so again, we have him here, a flashback to the Barren Station. So the thing that really is wonderful about this is you don't know where reality is. I believe that reality is the whole team of the Black Hammer team is in front of this monster, and they're getting ready to fight him. But then he's in this other reality that feels more real than what he's dealing with. And so it zooms back from this, and he's in this field all by himself. It's on this meteor. So the story really is a good thing, because where's the reality? Because is it him facing this? Because let's flip back here. So when he has this weird thing where, because all these colors in this guy look all a lot like this. So maybe he is fighting as well, but it's a spiritual fight. It's something that isn't the physical thing that the rest of them are getting ready to do. And so again, you have all these callbacks to these greens and oranges. And again, you zoom back. So what's reality? Is it him navigating this landscape of his youth, or the entirety of his life? Is it the reality where he's standing with his friends in front of a foe? Is he a little guy? Is he a middle-aged guy? Is he a young man? Who's gonna fight, and where does reality stand? And so we sit here, and so again, he's bewildered. He doesn't know where he is or where reality is. And here's the whole crew. This is the whole crew. That's the whole crew. And hey, get up, buddy. We're gonna do it together is the idea. And so there's all these realities on top of each other. And again, here's a nice thing. It's a nice way to end the story here. So this really, really beautiful application of colors. And so he's holding hands with the little boy version of himself. And the boy says, "There, we're home. Time to remember, okay?" And so he says, "Okay." So it's a really tough thing to live in the present, because that's where everything is, and to further your life of what it is, because you think about how you could have done things in a way to not make your life so miserable. And it's really easy to get caught up in those past things, to get caught up in the past without it's easy just to live your life in that and not advance into anything. And that absolutely isn't the answer. But yeah, it's I guess this is the part of the video where I am overwhelmed in everything that I'm saying, and I don't know how to talk anymore. But again, a really good story, and again, a little bit of the mental health deal there. It kind of goes off into the story a little bit more, but again, this idea of not having a solid place to stand, or not knowing where to turn, or even being confused by what's in front of you. And man, if you're having friends that are going through it, stick with them. Stick with them. Because, I had a chat with a buddy. I got a real tough job at work. A lot of confrontation, a lot of screamo. But I did get a new position. And so I was talking to a buddy, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I got this new spot. I'm so tired of being angry all the time. And, and he said something nice to me. He's like, well, man, I appreciate you. Oh, no, I remember what he said. He said, yeah, man, I'm glad you got this spot. We were all kind of worried about you. I was like, oh, man, really? I really appreciate you saying that. You're a good egg, buddy. And he's like, yeah, you are too. And, to think that, that he threw that back to me like that so easily, and that he is a friend. It's easy to get caught up in all the tough things that you're in and forget about those things, that you do have friends. There are people out there that care about you. All those things. There's always somewhere to go, even if your problems seem so overwhelming and right on top of you. And I'm not sure if maybe I'm just putting too much into this comic, but the thing that got me is the artist. We'll go back. He can draw some eyes, man. So who's the Jeff Lemire, Tyler Crook? I'm not sure which one's the artist and which one is publisher, design, digital art, technician Joe Christensen. Yeah, I'm not written by... Oh, Tyler Crook, art and letters by Tyler Crook. Okay, well, there we go. But yeah, a lot of credits in there. Good story. And yeah, if you got one of your buddies who's getting a little weird or something like that, or having a tough time, give them a little bit of leeway and stand with them.